C'est une route qui va quelque part nous emmènera. Questa strada che va da qualche parte ci porterà. I giardini di Tessano, o Mawada, in Atenas. Questa strada che va da qualche parte ci porterà. I giardini di Tessano, o Mawada, in Atenas. In Atenas, in Atenas, in Atenas.
Lake Chad is not what it was. Its waters have retreated, uncovering the fertile land of its southern shores. Here, Al-Hajj Mazu Hassan now tills the land where he used to fish. A change of career that he says makes it easier to feed himself and his 53 children.
Fishing doesn't bring enough in. You work, you get indebted, and in the end you're left with nothing. When there was a lot of water, I lived from fishing alone. I fished and I sold my fish to N'Djamena and to Nigeria. But since the water level has dropped, I've given up fishing, and now I work the land.
Hassan's life has mirrored the changes in the lake, but the concept of climate change is that of another world.
Me, I don't know anything about all that. Only Allah knows what's happening. All I do is follow the lake.
It's what men here have always done on a lake that has grown as often as it has shrunk. This is their tale. Our guide is Abba Abu Muhammad. He was also once a fisherman. Now he buys and sells the fish caught by others. Business is good. He employs no fewer than 30 fishermen, giving them bait and food in exchange for their catch.
Things are going well, but I've got costs. The supplies I buy for my fishermen cost me a lot, and I just about make ends meet.
After some haggling, we're allowed onto his boat. First stop, the island of Kinassaram, a sort of crossroads for the 4 countries that share the lake: Chad, Cameroon, Nigeria and Niger. A quick stop that allows us to meet one of the first fishermen to have moved to this now crowded island. At 88, Blama El Hajj Adam continues to fish every day. But even with the help of his grandsons, it's more of a struggle than it was.
There's less water, and because there are many people who come here to fish, there are now fewer fish, and the fish can hide more easily among the grasses, in the holes. I don't know where they hide. Before I was able to fill my boat, before my boat there was filled with fish.
Now the nets often come up empty, and the next generation is already looking elsewhere.
Me, I want to do a different job. Fishing is no good.
Why?
There is no money in fishing.
Part of the problem is that things were so good here for so many and for so long. Last year, though, the authorities banned the old tight meshed fishing nets. Many were simply confiscated.
People don't have good nets anymore. All their good nets have been taken. All they have left are synthetic ones. So many fishermen have fled because of that. They've gone to Cameroon, to Nigeria.
At the end of a long morning, the fishermen returned to Kinassaram. From here, the fish was once sold mainly to Nigeria, but that's now banned. This fish, hard enough to catch, will now be even harder to sell. It is prepared and cleaned by the fisherman's daughter-in-law. She will then have to sell it within Chad. Where do you sell your fish?
To N'Djamena.
You don't sell to Nigeria?
No, only to Chad.
We leave Kenassaram as we'd arrived on the fish trader's boat. At first, the navigation is tough. Tall grasses have sprouted up all around the lake as its waters have receded. But beyond the grasses lies the open water. And it is here, much further than before near the unmarked watery border with Nigeria, that Abba Abu Muhammad must now come to drop off his fishermen. Here, far from any shore, they will spend weeks at a time.
Before we went quite far, but not as far as this. Before, to tell you the truth, there was even fish really close, over there. But now we have to follow it further out. And we have to lure it with this brand. Before, we could catch fish just like that. But now we have no choice but to use brand.
Next stop, Fitine, one of the many islands to have emerged as the lake's waters withdrew. Like Kenassaram, it long proved a magnet for fishermen from all over the region, but these children now inhabit an island that many have fled. Its chief shows us around a virtual ghost town.
Look at that. Like that, just there. The people have left. There are 200 or 300 places like this that have just been abandoned. If you want, we can look around. All of these are places that have been abandoned.
The problem, he says, is not just a lack of fish, but the new fishing rules as well. Surrounded by the island's remaining children, he tells of a veritable racket on the part of the many men in uniform.
The military, they come and they take 2 million CFA francs from you. Sometimes if they catch you trying to sell fish to Nigeria, they can even ask you for 4 million. And for a poor man, how can he pay that kind of money? 4 million? That's the value of a life.
The new rules make little sense to the fishermen of Fitine. Here it is not just livelihoods that are at stake, but lives.
If we die of hunger here, the fish will get bigger. But what for? The truth, only Allah knows it, not men. Even the government doesn't know the truth.
Back on our trader's boat, it isn't long before we too encounter a patrol. We're on the open water once again when our trader's attention is caught by a gunshot in the distance. Our boat is called over to a reedy bank. There, a motley group of men in camouflage, understandably camera shy, demand a patrol tax. Today, it will be the relatively light levy of a packet of cigarettes and some firewood. Our presence, it seems, has helped. Often, the price of peace can be far greater. And for the patrols, the pickings are rich. The lake is crisscrossed by boats transporting goods and much contraband. Our camera is rarely welcomed. Many of the boats are heading for Bol on the northeastern shore of the lake. It is also heavily policed and taxed, as goods arrive here from all over the region. Anything that can be traded is. Petrol from Nigeria, and wood, lots of it, chopped from the shores of the lake.
The lake's wood, they destroyed it all. What's left now?
Attempts have been made to regulate this trade, but here, as everywhere, the finger of blame is pointed at foreigners.
For the most part, it's people from Cameroon, from Nigeria, from Niger. For the most part, I said. There aren't many Chadians who cut wood here. It's mainly our neighbors, our brothers. It's them who do it.
But it is here that the consequences can be seen. Blama Mohammed has lived in the village of Bol all his life.
You see, we're arriving. There it is. This is where the water level used to be. From there to there, it used to be water. This is where we used to come and wash ourselves. Now houses have been built everywhere. Water's retrieving, and we're going forward.
As for why the lake's waters have vanished, he has his own theory.
What has changed is that in Nigeria they're taking water, in Cameroon they're taking water. It's also the same in Niger and Chad. That's what's dried up the lake.
Here in Chad, on the outskirts of Bol, it is through a system of dikes that the lake's water is pumped to irrigate 12,000 hectares of farmland. Land that is now drying up. Built in better times, the systems are now suffering from vanishing waters as well as poor maintenance. Canals like this one have simply dried up, and the state-owned company that built them doesn't have the means to do very much about it.
Our lands have pumps that no longer work, pumps that are too old and that need to be repaired. There's also work that needs to be done on the hydraulics. It takes a lot of maintenance, and we need to ensure these systems work for a long time.
As a result, life in the nearest village, Matafo, is getting harder. Many have already been forced to move on.
Some people have left to fish, others to keep cattle, others to farm. So some have gone to fish, and that's how everyone is left.
Men leaving the land for the water, others leaving the water for the land. Life following the water's ebbs and flows, nowhere more so than at the grassy outposts where our fish traders' men live and work. He smiles as the day's catch is handed over. But for the men and boys who work for him, it is a hard life that has become even harder.
Fish is rare. It's really rare.
A fact that makes relations between employer and employee less easy than they were.
I don't owe you anything. You've already extorted enough money from me.
For our fish trader, though, things are going well. And he isn't too worried about the future either. He's heard something about a project involving the channeling of the Ubangi River some 1,300 kilometers away. Although climate change means nothing to him either.
That I don't know about. What I do know is that there is water in the Ubangi River, and that we have to dig to bring it to Chad. The water that there is in Bangui, if they dig, the water in Lake Chad will rise.
The case is tantalizingly simple. But Lake Chad has shrunk before, and it has grown before as well. And no one has yet shown whether climate change has played any part at all.
C'est une route qui va quelque part nous emmènera. Questa strada che va da qualche parte ci porterà. I giardini che saranno Omawada, questa strada che va da qualche parte ci porterà. I giardini che saranno
In a cannabis, in a cannabis, in a cannabis.